Good morning, everyone, and welcome to WellSprings. For those of you in Bell Hall, please find a seat. My name is Andrea. My pronouns are she and her, and I'd like to welcome you all today. And if you're joining us on the interwebs, hello. We always start our service in song, so please rise in body or in spirit for our first one.
Turn. Yeah, okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. To everything, turn. There is a season, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything, turn. There is a season, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything, turn. There is a season, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything, turn. There is a season, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rent, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
You can take a seat for this next one if you were standing. And please, if you know it, sing along. Even if you don't know it, sing along. Was God thinking about my country or the color of my skin? Was God thinking about my religion and the way I worshiped them? Did God create just me in her image, or every living thing? When God made me, when God made me, was God planning only for believers? those who just had faith? Did God envision all the wars that were fought in His name? Did God say there was only one way to be close to Him? When God made me, when God made me. Did God give us the gift of love to say who we could choose? God made me, when God made me, when God made me, when God made me. Did God give us the gift of voice so that some could silence me? Did God give me the gift of vision, not knowing what I might see? Did God give me the gift of compassion to help my fellow man? When God made me, when God made me, when God made me, when God made me. Okay, please rise in body or in spirit for this last one. And if you've been here before, you know we are, light on singers today. And this one is a big voice song, so please sing along. I want to be able to hear you. Should be pretty easy, though. This is a pretty familiar one. Hey, don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out or looked down on. Just try your best. Try everything you can. And don't you worry what they tell themselves when you're away. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. Hey, you know they're all the same. You know you're doing better on your own. So don't buy in. Live right now. Just be yourself. It doesn't matter if it's good enough for someone else. I want to hear you. Come on. write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out or looked down on. Just do your best, do everything you can, and don't you worry what the bitter hearts are gonna say. It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright, alright. It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be alright.
There we go. Welcome to WellSprings, both to those here in Bell Hall and to those joining us online this morning. My name is Josie Waldman. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm delighted to be serving as our worship leader this morning. Each week when we gather, we light this chalice as a symbol of our shared spiritual heritage as Unitarian Universalists. It is not just a symbol of what is past, but of what is present, that divine light, that inner spark that shines at the heart of each of our lives. As we light this chalice, may we share our light with each other and with the world. We've asked Sadie to come and light our chalice, and when she's done so, we will say the words on the screen together. Thank you. And together we say, we light this chalice to celebrate the path lit before us, the warmth of kindness that shines from within us, and the radiance of wisdom that is shared between us and never goes out. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our mission here at WellSprings is to be a community charged full with the charge of the soul. And what is charging me full today is a sense of purpose. Many of you know that I own a childcare facility and that we opened in August of 2020 in the middle of a global pandemic. I don't recommend opening a childcare center in the middle of a global pandemic. But thankfully, we survived. In fact, we're doing so well that I started to step back a little from the day-to-day operations. I was still there most days, but my goal was that the center could function without me, and I could choose whether to be there or not. Well, we recently had a staffing hiccup that has required me to put a lot more time and energy into my business over the past few weeks. I've been working hard, picking up some slack, making some tough decisions, and honestly turning some things around that needed turning around. And the truth is, I feel so energized. Everyone seems happier, especially me. And I've realized that I don't want to go back to the goal of the center running without me. I like what I do. I like feeling useful rather than extra. It has taken me decades to find a fit this good. And I'm a little bit grateful for the issues that drew me back in and helped me to realize that this is what I want to be doing. I am so grateful for this sense of purpose and fulfillment and wish the same for all of us. This morning, I would like to especially welcome any newcomers. If this is your first or second time with us, we are so glad you're here. I hope you'll fill out a connection card so you can learn more about us and start to introduce yourself too. If you're watching from home, there's a link to the online connection card in the description below the video. Any of you can fill out a connection card on your phone through our WellSprings app. See our greeters in the back, and they'll help you get connected. If you'd like to interact with folks who are joining online this morning, there is a live chat available on YouTube. To access it, you will need a YouTube or Google account. Just sign in, and then click the live chat button to say hello. Finally, you can always find more information about today's service, as well as upcoming events and news, through our WellSprings app, or by scanning the QR code available on the welcome table by the front doors as you walk into Bell Hall. We have a few pieces of news we want to highlight this weekend, and for that, I'll turn it over to our Membership and Communications Coordinator, Jessica Heichel. We're going to make you come up here soon, Jessica.
Hi, WellSprings. My name is Jessica Heichel, and this is actually my last video. If you have not yet heard the news, Beth Trandall is going to be taking over the Membership and Communications Coordinator position, and I'm going to hand over the announcements to her now.
Good morning, WellSprings. My name is Beth Trandall. Thank you, Jessica, for that wonderful introduction. Over here, you can find the QR code that you can scan at any point during this video to get more information about these announcements. Our first announcement, after service today, there will be an open house for the tech team back in the tech booth. You're welcome to stop by, talk to any of the current tech team members, and find out more about what you can do to help out the tech team. Second announcement, the book club will be meeting tomorrow evening from 6:30 to 8:30 in the library. You can scan the QR code for more information about this month's selection. Final announcement, the congregational meeting will be held on June 2nd after service. You can scan the QR code for more information. That's all. Have a great day.
Thank you, Jessica and Beth. At WellSprings, the foundation of all that we do is rooted in the power of connection, of making space in our hearts and in our lives for each other. This is the part of the service where we honor that connection by greeting one another. We recognize our community's presence well beyond these walls, so feel free to take a moment now to connect and share a greeting in the live chat, or maybe to say hello in WellSprings Oasis, our private group on Facebook. For those here in Bell Hall, a reminder to please ask before hugging or approaching closely. And if you prefer to keep distance from others for any reason, just stay seated, and that will be our cue to give you a friendly wave from afar. With gratitude for all the ways we might connect, please greet one another now. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for these warm greetings. I'll ask you to take a seat again and do continue these conversations during our coffee hour. I am very pleased to invite Nate Gilson up to share a reflection. Please give him your attention.
Is Nate Gill, pronoun he and him. Hold on, start here. Hi, my name is Nate Gilson, and my pronouns are he and him. This morning, I will be talking about a.
There's so many mics. You think this will be better? All right, try that. Just say test a couple times. He's got to turn it on. Can you talk a little louder?
Hi, my name is Nate Gilson. My pronouns are he and him. This morning, I will be talking about a book that helps charge me through the day called I'm Just a Kid with an IEP by Jordan Tillman. I first discovered Jordan Tillman when my mom would play his instant videos really loud. His biggest supporter is his mother, and I think my mom was trying to tell me something when she would blast them. At first, I found them annoying and didn't care so much to listen to the actual message he was speaking about. I mean, to be fair though, my mom would play them a lot when I was gaming, and at 13, Fortnite is like my life. Something came over me, and the more I actually started listening to his speeches off Instagram, I realized that Jordan was speaking to me. I also am a kid with an IEP. An IEP is a school-based program that provides students with tools to help them comprehend a subject they may be struggling in, along with a resource teacher for assistance. Jordan's message in the book because he also struggled with an IEP, and I could relate to all the feelings he was having while in school. In this book, Jordan talks about his struggles with ADHD, reading comprehension, and dyslexia. Early in the book, he tells us what his life is like living with a learning disability from a young age to adulthood. As Jordan grew up, he learned how to cope, adjust, and grow into a successful business owner and very popular motivational speaker for young students throughout the country. As a student with a learning disability, I can relate to this book because I also struggle in school. Just like Jordan, I got bullied and often picked on. This would increase my low self-esteem. With Jordan's learning disabilities, he was assigned a resource room where he was ashamed to go to. I also am currently in one and get nervous at times when I walk towards the classroom door. This resource room provides me extra help with the caseworker in subjects that I may be struggling with, and I also go through there when I have a test I need to take. These classes are much smaller, and I am able to focus better on accomplishing my assignments. Another thing Jordan and I both have common is summer school. He had attended the program when he was younger, and I go every year. I enjoy summer school because it helps me to not forget what I have already learned last year. Gets me ready for the following year, and the teachers make it a lot of fun. Was also in occupational therapy, but with the help of my caseworker and my parents, I succeeded and no longer needed it. I was so excited that I overcome a huge challenge of mine that I have faced since elementary school. I wanted to share this book and my story because learning disabilities are very common. I want everyone to know that it's okay not to be the best at everything, to keep pushing forward, and you're not alone. I enjoy helping others in and out of WellSprings. Since reading this book, my self-esteem has gotten better though there are still days I do struggle. My self-confidence has risen a lot more, especially when attending church every Sunday and helping Miss Carol in youth spirit. I am very thankful that I have a huge family support system, especially my mom, dad, Aunt Lauren, and Uncle Sean. In Jordan's words, my struggle is my strength. To me, this means it doesn't define who I am as a person. Me to make stronger and overcome my challenges and empower me to grow. The shirt I am wearing today is the shirt he wears when he goes to school and speaks to the students. The front says, "I'm just a kid with an IEP," and the back says, "My struggle is my struggle, my strength." Thank you for listening to my message.
Thank you, Nate. I invite you now into our time of generosity, an opportunity to express our gratitude for and commitment to the ways this spiritual community has an impact on all of our lives. We sustain WellSprings now and into the future through our contributions. If you'd like to, you can use your phone to give from anywhere. Just text WSprings to 73256. It's also easy and convenient to automate your giving on Realm. Our greeters will be bringing hats around for those who wish to donate by hand. You can also drop a check or cash donation in the box near the front doors on the welcome table. Thank you for all the ways your gifts support WellSprings. Our offering will now be gratefully received. Thank you, Ethan. Having shared energy between us and giving beyond us, let's take some time now to reground into the deep and soulful energy that's within. We do this by doing what is most simple and elemental in our lives. We take a breath, inhaling and exhaling without rush or hurry, breathing in and breathing out. There's nowhere else to go, nowhere else to be. So let us cultivate peace and experience presence together. As we prepare for our time of mindful silence, we follow these words from Thich Nhat Hanh. If we want to enter heaven on earth, We need only one conscious step and one conscious breath. Wherever it is that we are, whatever it is that we are doing, however it is that we are feeling, let us remember that peace and presence are always as close to us as is our own breath. May this be so for us this moment. May it be so for us this day. And may it be so for all of us in the days to come. Now I'd like to invite the kids to come have a seat on the carpet for the reading of this week's story.
There it is. Hello again. Sorry, Merle. Merle's holding her ears. Thank you. I have missed being here the last 2 weeks, and I watched the services online, and I thought I cannot possibly compete with how awesomely you all have done over the last couple weeks. So our message series for this month is called Books Set Free. And every single week we are highlighting and reading a story that has been banned or challenged in a school district or a library or somewhere else. So this week's book is called The Proudest Blue by Ibtihaj Muhammad. And I'm going to look at the book so that I can read it, but the pictures are all going to be up there, okay? All right. Mama holds out the pink. Mama loves pink. But Asiya shakes her head. I know why. Behind the counter is the brightest blue, the color of the ocean. If you squint your eyes and pretend that there's no line between the water and the sky. It's the first day hijab. Asiya knows it. I know it. We're sisters. The next day, I wait. A new backpack, new light-up shoes. I feel special. I feel like twirling. Asiya comes out of the house, and I stop. It's the most beautiful first day of school ever. I'm walking with a princess, so I pretend that I'm one too. But even princesses have to stop to cross the street. Asiya takes my hand in hers, says, "Come on, Faiza." We speed walk it. 14 steps, 14 light-ups to get across. Asiya takes me to my line first and hugs me goodbye. I turn to watch her leave, give a little curtsy to the princess, going to the 6th grade area. She's easy to see. Her hijab smiles at me the whole way. My first day hijab is going to be blue too. "What's that on your sister's head?" the girl in front of me whispers. "A scarf," I whisper back. I don't know why a whisper came out. I try again, louder now. "A scarf, hijab." "Oh," she whispers. But Asiya's hijab isn't a whisper. Asiya's hijab is like the sky on a sunny day. The sky is not a whisper. It's always there, special and regular. The first day of wearing hijab is important, Mama had said. It means being strong. I turn, but I can't see the blue anymore. So I run to the big kid's side, 27 steps, 27 light-ups, to see Asiya. I need to give her another hug. I need to see her smile. Faiza? Asiya's eyes wonder why I'm here. Are you excited, I ask, about the first day of hijab? She nods, smiling big, and I feel better. Someone laughs from nearby, a boy pointing at Asiya. Why? Asiya's hijab isn't a laugh. Asiya's hijab is like the ocean waving to the sky. It's always there, strong and friendly. Mama had said, some people won't understand your hijab, but if you understand who you are, one day they will too. In class, I draw a picture. 2 princesses in hijab having a picnic on an island where the ocean meets the sky. The girl who whispered to me in line says she likes it. She says it's so loud the teacher comes over to see it. I wonder if Asiya drew a picture too. Recess time is for 5 cartwheels in a row. I land the last one near the 6th graders, near Asiya and her friends. Near a boy yelling, I'm going to pull that tablecloth off of your head. Asiya's hijab isn't a tablecloth. Asiya's hijab is blue, only blue. Asiya turns away. Her friends turn away. They race to the middle of the schoolyard, their shoes pounding the pavement, playing tag. Mama said, don't carry around the hurtful words that others say. Drop them. They are not yours. They are not yours to keep. They belong only to those who said them. It takes me 48 steps to get away from the yelling boy. After school, I look around. I look for whispers, or laughs, or shouts. But I only see Asiya, waiting for me like it's a regular day. She is smiling, strong. We cross the road hand in hand, and I can't wait to get home to show Mama the picture I drew, to show Asiya that I'm wearing the same hijab in it. Because Asiya's hijab is like the ocean and the sky, no line between them, saying hello with a loud wave, saying I'll always be here, like sisters, like me and Asiya. Thank you all so much for listening to the story today. I'm going to invite the band back up for our 4th song.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our next song.
Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither while they pass, they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are drifting through my open mind, possessing and caressing me. Jai Guru Deva Om. Nothing's gonna
images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes that call me on and on across the universe. Thoughts meander like a restless wind inside a letterbox. They tumble blindly as they make their way across the universe. Jai Guru Deva. Oh, nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Sounds of laughter, shades of earth are ringing through my open views, inciting and inviting me. A limitless, undying love which shines around me like a million suns. It calls me on and on across the universe. Jai Guru Deva. Oh, nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Jai Guru Deva. Jai Guru Deva. Jai Guru Deva.
Good morning, everybody. I think it's worth starting my message with a round of applause for all the young folks who've helped create our beautiful service today. Today and all month, all through the month of May, we've had our kids and our teens helping us lead worship and tell stories and make music. Today we had Sadie lighting the chalice and also greeting outside. Sadie was doing a great job greeting, proactive, going up to people before they got to the door. We had Nate's reflection on I'm Just a Kid with an IEP, a book that's very important to him. We had Ethan playing a song that is very hard to play. I was very impressed, Ethan, with that choice, who's now enjoying a cheese stick, which is making me hungry. Enjoy it. And Morgan and Zoe both helped with the generosity time and passing the hats. Thank you both so much. We have one more week in our All Ages Message series, so there's just one more chance to see all of this happen. And actually next Sunday, our fourth song is not going to be just the band. It's going to be an original song written by one of our youth and sung by one of our youth. So don't miss it. And what we are sharing, of course, all month, the core of what we're sharing, the most important thing that we're sharing is stories. That's it, just stories, human stories. With our theme of books set free, we're talking about how in our faith, in our tradition, we believe that every single human matters. And if every single human being matters, that means that every single human being's story also matters, right? Every human story deserves to be shared and to be told. But sometimes, and it has happened recently in our area, in our country, but this isn't the first time that it's happened in America or in the world. Sometimes certain people get the idea that some stories are not so good to tell. They get the idea, especially sometimes, that children should not read about certain people's stories. And I like how last Sunday when I was away, I watched the service online. Nick was preaching, and he pointed out in his message last week that these selections, these choices about which stories are worth reading and which aren't, they're usually more about the adults and their ideas than they are about the kids. If you can explain something in an age-appropriate way, kids can absorb it generally, right? They can absorb almost anything. They're learning machines. Kids are curious about the world. We want to know what's out there when we're young and figuring it all out. But it's the adults who, unfortunately, get ideas in our heads sometimes about certain stories, certain things that happened, certain things that we wish we could pretend never happened, or that just make us uncomfortable, maybe because we, the adults, never learned about them, right? I don't know why grown-ups sometimes get it in our heads that we can actually shut down and suppress human stories, because we really can't. Just like we can't suppress human beings. The human spirit, the spark of the divine that lives inside each of us, is way too strong for that. We long, all of us, to be who we are and to share who we are with each other. And that's a beautiful thing about being a person. It's a beautiful thing, just like the big blue hijab in today's story, the proudest blue. Now, a hijab, for any of you who may not know, is a religious symbol that people wear to show their faith. It's similar in some ways to how Christians might decide to wear a cross necklace, for example, or get a cross tattoo. I know a few people with those. Or it's similar to how Jewish people sometimes wear a yarmulke on their heads or a Star of David on their jewelry. Even Unitarian Universalists sometimes choose to show our religion, right, with a chalice. Does anybody have a chalice on anything that they wear, either with them today or at home? Ted is wearing, oh look, a couple hands up. Ted is wearing a t-shirt right now with a chalice on it. Carol, do you have some jewelry? At home? Carol, you have something else too? Oh, you have an actual chalice, but you could carry it with you if you felt like it. Yeah. Well, for Muslims, there's also traditional clothing that some people choose to wear, both to show their faith, what they believe, to the people around them, and to remind themselves also of their faith. I love how this story tells us about hijab from that perspective, from within a Muslim home, where, to our narrator, Faiza, the younger sister, the hijab is a huge deal. It's a symbol of growing up. It's a symbol of becoming a grown-up within one's faith. It's the whole sky and the whole ocean, she says. Always there, special and regular. It's a reminder in that family of what it looks like to be proud to be exactly who God made them to be. And today's book is based on a story told by a woman, the author, named Ibtihaj Muhammad, what it was like for her when she started wearing hijab when she turned 12 years old. The two characters in the book are actually based on her own sisters. Ibtihaj has two sisters in real life named Faiza and Asiya. And another thing that you may not know about Ibtihaj Muhammad is that in 2016, 8 years ago, she became the first American to wear hijab while competing in the Olympic Games, and the first Muslim American woman to win an Olympic medal for fencing. If any of you like fencing, Noah in the nursery is also a fencer, so you could probably, yep. I'm seeing Quinn say, yep, that's my brother. When he comes out, ask him about fencing. Now, Ibtihaj is clearly an impressive athlete. She's an Olympian, for God's sakes, right? And she actually has another book coming out later this year about what it was like to compete in the Olympics. You can pre-order it now. It's not quite out yet. In September, it'll be out. It's called The Boldest White, for the white outfit that the fencers wear. But that wasn't what her first book was about. Her first book was The Proudest Blue. Does anybody have a guess of why she might have wanted to tell this story first? Anybody? Why would you want to tell the story of growing up and wearing hijab before the big accomplishment? Kathleen? Well, so maybe it's because people weren't so familiar with hijab, so before she wrote about her accomplishment, she just wanted to familiarize people with hijab. Yeah, any other thoughts about why she wanted to tell this story first? No? I think it's something to do also with what Nate talked about earlier, right? What Nate talked about, my struggle is my strength. About the things that make us seem different to other people, and how going through something makes us stronger. And how the thing that makes us different also makes us who we are, and is not separable from the accomplishment. It's part of the journey, right? Jordan Toma, the author of the book that Nate shared with us about, wanted to tell his whole story. He didn't just want to show the part that people are going to applaud for, right? The best and the shiniest accomplishments. The day he told his first speech to a big audience, or won a big competition, or got all those A's on his report card. Because that's not every kid's story. It's not every person's story. And it's not the whole story. And when we only tell certain kinds of stories, we miss out on all of these other stories that are just as valuable and worthy, I might even say more important, to tell each other. Because those stories show all of us how to be strong. They remind us that it's good, that we're all different. And they remind us that if someone doesn't understand you, just like Faiza and Asia's mama said to them, right? Some people won't understand you. But if you understand who you are, one day they will too. Last weekend, we shared here a different story from the Banned and Challenged book list in our service. Last week's story was called Sofia Valdez, Future Prez. And in his message, again, about that story, Nick asked all of you the same kind of question, to guess why, for that book, you thought it might have been challenged or banned. And you all had some really good answers last week. I watched the service online. And Gwen Lewis, who's not here today, but Gwen Lewis was one of the people who guessed a possible reason why that book was banned. And she had a really insightful guess. She said maybe it was because in that book there were Spanish words. And some people don't like it when people use Spanish words. They want everyone to use only English words. I think Gwen is like 7. Very insightful guess. Speaking all in the same language all of the time, well, that's sort of like wanting everyone to dress in the same kind of way all the time, or wanting everyone to be the same religion, or practice the same culture or traditions. And it's actually, I'm here to tell you today, look out for this. It's a little bit dangerous anytime somebody wants us to all be exactly the same. Kids and adults, your spidey sense should go off whenever somebody says we all have to be the same. Pay extra attention if you hear that. And look around. Look around for the people who might be getting left out of that sameness. Who around you, or maybe you, doesn't get to be themselves with that version of everybody has to be the same? Who around you, or maybe you, doesn't get to tell your whole story if it doesn't fit in with that version of the same? Is that version of the same really serving everybody, or is it just making a few people happy? These are all good questions for kids and adults to keep in mind. This book, The Proudest Blue, was challenged in a school district not too far away in Northampton, Pennsylvania. I think that's in Bucks County, right? Yeah. It was part of a larger collection of books that were donated to the school district by an outside nonprofit that my mic has been way away from my mouth. Sorry, Chris. It was part of a collection of books donated by an outside nonprofit that represented all kinds of diverse stories. And there were some people living in that school district who complained about that donation. They said, that it was divisive to tell stories like this, stories about different religions and backgrounds and cultures. They said that it was racist to tell stories about the discrimination or the bullying that the people in these books had experienced in their lives. They said that talking about the ways that we're different from each other is trying to segregate the world. Which is funny to me because none of these stories, including the story in The Proudest Blue, are about separating us from each other. They're actually usually about the opposite thing, right? They're about people who are different integrating and coming together, going to public schools together, being in our neighborhoods all together, all a little bit different. Being together while not all being the same, that's what peace is. And hearing these stories, hearing about all different kinds of people who get to tell their own stories, can actually help teach us how to make peace with each other, how to rise above our challenges and our struggles and our differences, how to treat one another and how not to treat one another, and how to be different and live in peace together. There are some folks who think we can only have peace or unity if we are all the same. And that's just not how we were made. It's not true. Unity does not mean sameness. Peace does not mean sameness. And that belief is what gets to be so dangerous. Because if people think that we have to be the same, they will try to suppress the stories that seem too different. And when you suppress the stories, you suppress the people, or at least you try to. It won't work. And so why not instead lean into honoring and protecting each other, all of our neighbors, by sharing our stories, just like we're all doing here in our message series, just like you do, any one of you, when you tell your story, when you meet or learn about or read a book about someone who has just a different kind of life than you do. We can all be curious. We can be eager even to love the whole humans around us. And it may not always be easy to build that kind of peace between us, but we can start like we are doing right here, by hearing and learning from each other's stories. And we can remember that we've learned today, right, that just because something is hard does not mean that it's not worthwhile. Our struggle can also be our strength. Amen to you all, and may you live in blessing. I'm going to invite our band back up for the last song of the day. And while they're making their way up here, I will invite you all to join me in the spirit of prayer. God of our own heart's language, giver of the heart that beats inside of us, the lungs that take in air and release it again. Today, may we remember that we, each of us, has a whole story, that each of us is carrying around our experiences from when we were children, that each of us is carrying around what it looked like for us to grow up, and that those of us who are older in this room carry around so much more, maybe watching our own children or other children start to make their way. May we trust today that all of our stories mean something, that all of our stories could be a gift to someone else if we share them. And may we be open to hearing about other people's lives with that same spirit, remembering that their life is also a gift. For these prayers I've spoken out loud and for the prayers that all of us are carrying on their hearts today, we say amen.
Please rise in body or in spirit for the last song.
As I walk through this wicked world, searching for
trusted? And where is the harmony, sweet harmony? 'Cause each time I feel that slipping inside, it makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? So where are the strong, and who are the trusted? And where is the harmony, sweet harmony? 'Cause each time I feel it slipping away, it just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?
This light may go out, but the source that sparked it within each of us is always here. And together we say, as we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, and to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always. Friends, sometimes universalism, that half of our faith tradition, is explained as all of us need all of us. It's a statement of faith, because sometimes you probably feel like the person who cut you off in traffic, you don't need them, right? But it is our faith that all of us need all of us. So may you bring yourself and your story everywhere you go this week. Let's put our hands together one more time for the band.